Okay, we're actually starting with 2015, 2016. Now, the question is well explanatory, but you will need to actually interpret the question in order to access the mind of the examiner. So the question says that consider the legislation on drug G. Under present law, the sale of the drug is illegal, okay, in the country. Now, under present law, the sale of the drug is illegal in the country. The question is, okay, despite the legal prohibition, a thriving market continues to exist. Despite the legislation, the legal prohibition, a thriving market continues to exist. Now, the supply and demand curves are shown in the diagram below, where PE is the equilibrium price and QE is the equilibrium quantity. Now, suppose that laws are changed. Take note of this. Suppose that laws are changed. Okay, suppose that laws are changed such that drug G suppliers and consumers are not subject to penalties if caught. So in this case, even if there is actually legal prohibition, now the law is actually favoring the supplier of these drugs and then also the consumers of this drug. So the question is now saying here, okay, please, is it the same thing with everybody? That my screen is not showing anything. Is it the same thing? Can you see my pen? MM, can you see my pen?
Yes, you can see your pen.
Okay, so I've not started, so I'm just reading the question, okay? So now let's go there, let's continue. So now suppose that the laws are changed such that drug G suppliers and consumers are not, okay, are not affected, okay, or subject to penalties if caught. How would this change in policy affect the market price and equilibrium quantity of drug G? Now take note of this. Let's start. This is so you're looking at question 1. Now we're giving the graph. This is the graph class. Let's take it step by step. Okay, this is X. According to the question, this is X, and this is Y. Okay, we have demand. This is demand. And this is supply. The equilibrium position is actually the point of intersection. Okay, so we have the equilibrium quantity. So this is QE. Then we have equilibrium price. Okay, we have equilibrium price. So this is PE. So we have this is actually our origin. Okay, this side is quantity. This side is quantity. And this side is price. Okay, so now let's look at what happens if the law favors the suppliers and the consumers. So class, you know, this curve, which is supply curve, remember that supply curve is positively sloped upward, okay, from left to right. This is actually the supply curve, okay, and this is the demand curve. This is the demand curve, okay. Demand curve slope downward from left to right, okay. Supply curve slope upward from left to right, okay. Supply curve is actually positively sloped. Demand curve is actually negatively sloped. Demand curve is actually convex to the origin. Supply curve is actually concave to the origin. So take note of this. This is saying that demand is saying that price and quantity demanded is negatively related. Supply curve is saying that price and quantity supply is actually positively related. So now, what happens if the law actually favors the supplier? So if the law favors the supplier, that means more drugs will be supplied to the market. So what happened? The supply curve will shift, okay? The supply curve will shift downward. Remember, a downward shift of supply curve means an increase in supply curve. I'm going to give you a short note. A downward shift of supply curve means increase in supply. So let's call this one X1. Okay, this is X1. We call this X1. Okay, now let's look at demand. What happened to demand curve? If supply of the drug G increases, okay, demand will also increase because the law favors both the supplier and also the consumer. So what happened? Demand curve will increase, okay, and it will increase means that it's going to shift upward. That is, from this original position, demand curve will shift upward. Okay, so let's have it this way. Demand curve shifts upward. So this is, let's call this D1. Okay, this is D1. Okay, now take a look at it. What you are concerned with is actually the new equilibrium position. Remember when X1, okay, when X1 actually shifts downward, take a look at this. You know, when supply curve shifts to X1, remember this is our new supply curve. That's what I'm actually trying to bold it for you to see. Okay, it shifts downward from X to X1. Now, and demand curve actually shifts upward. So you can see this is the demand curve. Okay, take note of this. You don't need to paint this during exam. Okay, I'm just trying to show you what happened. Now, this is X1. This is X1. This is the new supply curve, and this is the new demand curve. So what happened? This is the new equilibrium position. Okay, this is the new equilibrium position. So here, what happened is that you're going to okay, trace this price, trace it down. Okay, trace it down. You can see that quantity actually increased. The quantity increased from QE to Q1. So we have QE to Q1, quantity increase. Let's see what happened to price. Let's see what happened to equilibrium price. You can see that equilibrium price actually falls, okay? But the fall in equilibrium price is not that much, okay, from the original equilibrium position. So this is P1 class, this is P1. So what happened is that quantity supplied, equilibrium quantity increased, but equilibrium price actually falls. So we can see there is a fall in equilibrium price and an increase in equilibrium quantity. So let me quickly explain some few things here. First of all, let's understand this. Now, a downward shift, let's start with demand curve. Okay, class. A downward shift, a downward shift of demand curve, downward shift of demand curve implies a decrease a decrease in demand, a fall in demand, a fall in demand, comma, inward shift of demand, inward shift. It also means an inward shift, inward shift of demand curve. It also means decrease in demand. It also means decrease in demand. So take note of this, class. So when you see a fall, a downward shift of demand, it means decrease in demand. Okay, there's decrease in demand, a fall in demand. Okay, it means inward shift of demand. Okay, now, and it also means that the demand over time has actually fallen. So take note of this, class. Okay, let's talk about supply. For supply, okay, we are still talking about demand. So an upward shift of demand, an upward shift of demand curve, an upward shift of demand curve means an increase in demand. Okay, a rise in demand means a rise in demand. It means this is inward, so this will be outward. Okay, it is outward shift. It means an outward shift of demand curve. Okay, outward shift of demand curve. So that's what it means. So this is or this. Okay, now let's talk about supply. Let's talk about supply curve. Okay, for supply curve, class, a downward shift of supply curve, a downward shift of supply curve means, a downward shift of supply curve means increase, means an increase in supply, means an increase in supply, a rise in supply. It also means okay, the downward shift. It also we can also call it rightward shift. Okay, it's also rightward shift of supply curve. Okay, so take note of this. So it is downward, it means it is increase. It means it is a rise. Okay, it means it is actually rightward shift of supply curve. So anytime you hear the word a downward shift of supply curve, a downward shift of supply curve is not, from the word downward does not mean it is decrease. A downward shift of supply curve means an increase in supply. It means a rise in supply. It means a rightward shift in supply or an upward shift. It also means an increase in all aspects. So take note of this. Anytime you see downward supply curve, what should come to your mind is actually a rise or increase in supply curve. Okay, so take note of that. So let's look at an upward shift. Class, an upward shift of supply curve, an upward shift of supply curve means a decrease. Means a decrease in what? In supply. Okay, a fall sorry, in supply. A fall in supply. Okay. It also means leftward shifts. It's also leftward shifts. Leftward shifts, okay, of supply curve. So now let's go back to this. This is a downward, see, this is a downward shift that shows increase. An upward shift of demand curve is actually an increase, okay? So that is actually an increase. So we can see here, back to our question, okay? To answer the question, if the law, okay, if the law favors the supplier, and consumer of drug G, okay, if the law favors the supplier and consumer of drug G, the equilibrium quantity will increase from QE to Q1, while the equilibrium price will fall from PE to P1, okay, as shown above. So what is that telling us? So the examiner is not expecting you to write story. Just tell us what will happen to equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity if there's no legal action that is taken, okay, on the supplier and also on the consumer. Okay, now let's move on, class. Now, the next question says, given P equals to 200 minus 4Q and TC equals to 100 plus 20Q. Now, take a look at this. Whenever you see a question like this, don't let it bother you. Please just give me a minute. Let me change the pen. Now, this question is telling you that, okay, take a look at this. We have question 1B. So this is question 1B. Now we have P is giving us 200 minus 4Q, okay, and TC is giving us 100 plus 20Q. 100 plus 20Q. Please pay attention to this. Now, determine profit maximizing output. Class, anytime you see a question like this, I just want you to calm down that there is nothing in micro. There's nothing there. Just understand the principle. You are good to go. Now, this is saying that we have the demand function already, which is P equals to 200 minus 4Q. And the total cost function is 100 plus 20Q. Now, the first question requires you find profit maximizing output. So I'm going to be giving you a short note here to understand this and how to solve it. Now, take a look at this now. The first one, Roman figure 1, to obtain profits maximizing, to obtain profit maximizing output, equate marginal revenue, to marginal cost. Remember, you're not doing much, okay, to marginal cost. So let's do it together, class. Let's do it together. See what you're going to do. You know, here, I said equate marginal revenue, but we don't know marginal revenue. But you know demand curve, which is the price function. So this is what you're going to do. You now say recall. You say recall that total revenue, let me write it for you in full first. Total revenue is actually equals to what? Price multiplied by quantity. Okay, so we can say, instead of writing total revenue, I can just write R. Then instead of writing price, I can just write P. Instead of writing Q, I can just write this Q. So now let's go then. So revenue will now be, you know, price has been given already, which is 200 minus 4Q. So we have 200 minus 4Q. I just want you to calm down. We are going to understand everything. And this is Q. This Q that is outside, put it outside. So what happened next? Use the Q to open the bracket. This becomes 200 Q minus 4Q squared. Class, sometimes the question can ask you to find revenue function. So this is what is known as revenue function. We call this a revenue function. So this is a revenue function. Function is in the sense that revenue is a function of output that is actually sold. So it's always in terms of Q, it can be in terms of X, or depending on the input variable that is given in the question. So in this case, we are given Q, it can be X, sometimes it's still output. So this is revenue function. Now, next thing you're going to do, you know, you have total cost already. So from revenue function, obtain marginal revenue. So let me give you a short note on that. From revenue function, okay, class, obtain marginal revenue. So that means you obtain marginal revenue from where, class? From total revenue function. So how do you obtain marginal revenue, class? Marginal revenue is change in total revenue, is change in what, class? Total revenue. Remember, I don't want to write here, I'm just at R, total revenue with respect to what? Change in Q, which is the same thing as saying the R over what? The Q. Meaning you have to differentiate this function with respect to Q. So marginal revenue, class, marginal revenue will now give us 200Q. Remember, this Q means, the power on that Q is actually 1. So 1 times 200 is 200. And if you subtract 1 from this power, it gives you 0. So if you differentiate this, if you differentiate 200Q, class, we're going to have 200. So this is 200 minus 2 times 4 is 8. And then this Q, take 1 from the power, it gives you Q raised to power 1. Q raised to power 1 is still Q. So marginal revenue is 200 minus 8Q. 200 minus 8Q. That is actually marginal revenue. Please pay attention. Next, I need to obtain marginal cost. Obtain marginal cost. Class, marginal cost is obtained from this thing. Marginal cost is obtained from total cost. Okay, marginal cost is obtained from total cost. Let me give you a short note on that. Okay, marginal cost is obtained from total cost by differentiating please pay attention, by differentiating total cost with respect to what? By differentiating total cost with respect to Q. So that means marginal cost is when I differentiate total cost with respect to Q. So class, let's go there. What is my marginal cost? What is my total cost? You know, my total cost is, we have, okay, 100 plus 20Q, 100 plus 20Q. So with respect to what, class? With respect to the Q. So see what it's going to be. So marginal cost will give me, you know, if you differentiate 100 is 0, because 100 is constant. If you differentiate 20Q, class, you will have 20. Okay, you're not okay. You're not okay. You're not okay. But MR is equals to MC. So what is MR, class? Let's go back. MR is what? 200 minus 8Q. 200 minus 8Q. So MR is what, class? 200 minus 8Q. What is MC, class? MC is 20. So what do you do, class? The next thing you do, collect like terms. You collect like terms, class. So meaning you can bring this 20 to this side, take minus Q, minus 8Q to this side. So this will be 200 minus 20 is equals to 8Q. So class, this will give us 180 equals to 8Q. So the next thing you do to find Q, you say you divide both sides by what, class? By 8. I want you to calm down. You're going to understand everything. So class, 180 equals to 8Q is same thing as saying 8Q equals to 180. So I can also say that 8Q is equals to 180. Divide both sides by 8. Divide both sides by 8. So now let's go there. So this will give us Q. Please divide 180 by divided by 8. What do you have, class? 180 divided by, class, please. Everybody always contributes in my class. 180 divided by 8. What do you have, class?
22.5.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Tolu Alope, 22.5. Remember, Amaka, leave it in unit. What is the next question, please? Please, if you have the question, please be saying it, because I am not, I have to be unlocking my phone every time. Okay, so the next one is what, class? Next one is profit. Class, how do you obtain profit, class? Notes. Thank you, sir. Notes. Profit, let me give it in statement. Profit is when you take out cost. You take out cost from revenue. So that means this is representing profit, which is revenue minus cost. Now let's go there now. Let's go there. Now, advisably, I want to advise to make things easier for you, class, to make things easier for you. First of all, find revenue. Go and find cost, then come and do this one. Instead of bringing cost function and bringing revenue function, since the question is not asking us to find revenue, profit function, don't stress yourself. So let's come and do revenue first. Let's obtain revenue to make things easier for us. I know that my revenue is equal to 200Q minus 4Q squared. 200Q minus 4Q squared. So what do? When I say revenue equals to 200, anywhere I see Q, I'll put 22.5. So this is 22.5 minus 4, open the bracket. Q is 22.5, but in this time around, we are going to put square because Q here is carrying 2 up. Put the square there. So class, let's do it together. What do we have? Class, let's do it together. So this is 200 minus 22.5. Okay, what do you have, please?
4500. 4500.
So this is 4500 minus 22.5 squared times 4 is what, class? This is 2025. Am I correct? So revenue.
Yes.
Revenue is in Naira. Okay. This is minus 4,500. What do you have, class? That should be 2475. I hope I'm correct. So class, this is revenue. Now let's go ahead and obtain. Remember, I'm going to send you this note. So even if you are following me, even if you are writing the way I'm writing, and then I'm kind of faster than you are, please don't panic. I will send you this note after the class. Okay, and if you are fast enough, you can also cash me. So now I have gotten my revenue to be 2475. I'll now go ahead and also obtain my cost. My cost function is 100 plus 20Q. Somebody might be asking, essay, why are you writing C? Should they give us total cost? Should be TC. Either write C or TC is the same thing. So let's obtain our cost. Anywhere I see Q, remember, I'm going to put 22.5. So C will give me 100 plus, class, let's go there, 22.5 times what? 20. That should be what? 450, if I'm correct. So class, if you add it together, this should be 550, if I'm right, Naira. So now in this case, since I've gotten our cost of production, we've gotten our revenue from the sales of those products. So we can now say that therefore our profit is still remaining revenue minus cost. So the next thing you do, what is revenue? The revenue we obtain is what? 2475 minus cost. Our cost is 550. So class, if you subtract, you can see that your profit, take a look, we have 2475 minus what, class? 550. Yeah, please do it for what you have. I think that should be 1925. Okay, 1925. Please check it very well. Check it very well. So class, you can see it is positive. So this is actually the profit of the firm. So please, what's the next question, please? Okay, the next question is what? Oh, total revenue.
Total revenue.
Class, you can see. So the next question is total revenue. We already obtained our total revenue. Okay, let me quickly do something here. Now, this is me breaking it down, how to get profit. But this way, the way the question is structured, the question says profit. It now mentioned total revenue. It now mentioned total cost. Okay, so now, alternatively, class, we know that profit is what? Revenue minus cost. So alternatively, you will say, what is revenue function? The revenue function is 200Q minus 4Q squared. That is revenue function minus open bracket because of the cost function. The cost function is 100 plus 20Q. So now let's go there. Let's go there, class. So this is 200Q minus 4Q squared. Open the bracket, this will give you minus 100. Open the bracket with this minus, this will give you minus 20Q. So this will give us, class, this will give us 200Q minus 20Q will give us 180Q. So this is 180Q. Then minus 4Q squared minus 100. So class, apparently, this is profit function. In case the question asks you to find profit function, this is profit function. So from here, you now substitute. So this is 180. So let's see whether we're going to get the same answer straightforward from here. 180 into what? 22.5 minus 4 into what, class? 22.5 all raised power 2 minus 100. So class, if you do this, 180 multiplied by 22.5. So we have
4050.
Thank you, 4050 minus 22.5 square times 4. What do you have? 2025. You have 2025, okay, minus 100. So let's see whether we're going to get the same answer. So 4050 minus 2025 minus 100. Okay, so class is the same answer. So we have 1925. So this is 1925. So that is it. So take note of the alternative method. So now the revenue, I don't need to do revenue again, since we've already done revenue, we've done cost. So if you are writing it, okay, this is Roman. Take this. You will now take this revenue as what, class? As your Roman figure. What Roman figure? What next, please? Okay, as Roman figure 3. So this is revenue. Total Roman figure 3 is revenue. So revenue. Remember, we got revenue to what? Okay, class, revenue is 2475. We've already gotten revenue already. Okay, so okay, don't worry. Let's just go ahead so that the whole thing can flow. So revenue, okay, to obtain revenue, so R is 200Q minus 4Q squared. So this is R equals to 200 into 22.5 minus 4 into 22.5 squared. So R, this will give us 45000 minus 2025. So R is 2475. So now let's do total cost. Let's just follow it the way the equation actually came. Total cost, we've obtained total cost here. So C is equals to 100 plus 20Q. So this is C equals to 100 plus 20 into 22.5. So C will now give us 100 plus what class? Plus 450. So we have C to be what? 515. Now let's go there. Let's do Roman figure. Let's do the next question. So the next question says that, okay, total cost, marginal revenue, marginal cost and price, marginal revenue, marginal cost and price. So let's do marginal revenue. So the next one is marginal revenue. So to obtain marginal revenue, okay, essay, what is the difference between this marginal revenue and the one you got before? Class, this one, this marginal revenue that we got before, this one is called marginal revenue function. This is marginal revenue function. This is marginal revenue function, okay? So this is marginal revenue function. So now let's go there. So marginal revenue function, MR. So let's recall that our MR is equals to what? 200 minus what? 8Q. So this will give us 200 minus 8 into what? 22.5. So this will give us 200 minus class 22.5 multiplied by 8 should give us what? 180. So you can see that marginal revenue is actually 20 naira. We have obtained our marginal revenue. The next one is what? Marginal cost. Class, don't go too far. Don't go too far. Our marginal cost is simply our marginal cost. Let's go back to what we obtained. Class, recall that marginal cost is what? Marginal cost is 20. So don't go back again. Okay, just tell them. Okay, marginal cost is equals to 20. Move on. Move on. The next thing we are due to do is price. The next one is price. They ask us to do price, which is Roman figure what? Roman figure 7. Roman figure 7. So let's find price. Class, to obtain price, to obtain price, okay, use that demand function. So class, recall, remember, everybody take a look at this. Can you still remember this function that they give us from the beginning? So this is price. You use this function to obtain the price. So that's 200 minus 4Q. So that is 200. So P is 200 minus 4Q. So P is 200 minus 4 into what class? Into 22.5. So P is 200 minus, let's take a look at this, 22.5 times 4 is what? 90. So this is 90. So, thank you, sir. So you can see that our price is 110. So we are good to go with that question. Okay, any question? Let me quickly pause. Any question? Any question, please?
Please, essay, which course are we doing? Because I can see, maybe I came late. It's an 810.
Yes.
Which course be
Okay,
that
Alaja.
one? Eh?
Alaja, okay,
Sir?
this is advanced microeconomic theory, okay? So you can chat me up, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Advanced.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So class, are you there?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Please, I wish to ask a question on how we get the derivative when we change from M on marginal revenue.
Come again, please. Come again with your question.
Yeah, how we sort the R, the Q derivative.
Okay, on which part, please? On which part? On which part, please? On which part? Is it here? Are you talking about here?
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a pleasure.
Okay, so this is what we did here. We differentiated this revenue. You know, this is revenue function. We differentiated revenue function with respect to Q. So if you differentiate it, this will give you 200 minus 2 times 4 is 8. Then Q, if you subtract 1 from Q, from 2, you're going to get 1. So this is 200 minus 8 Q raised power 1. So don't need to put 1 there.
Oh, okay, thank you. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next question, please. Class, the next question says that, question 2, please. It says, sorry, we are still on question 1. We just did B. Okay, we just did question 1B. This is question 1C. Okay, question 1C. Question 1C says that, show the implication of an imposition of sales tax on the relevant variable indicated in A above, if the burden of tax is shared equally between the buyers and the sellers. So take note of this now. Remember, if tax is imposed, now the consumers and the producers can bear the burden of the tax or the branch of the tax. Sometimes the consumers bear it alone, sometimes the producers bear it alone, okay, and sometimes the producer bear it more, while producer bears more than the consumer, and sometimes the consumer bear it more than the producer. Let me quickly explain what I'm trying to say. If a product is price inelastic, okay, is price inelastic, taxing that particular product, the consumer can actually transfer that tax, okay, to the product. In other words, transfer the tax, the burden of the tax to the consumer. Now, because we know that the product is price inelastic, what happens is that, okay, both of them will actually bear the burden of the tax, but the consumer will bear more burden than the supplier or than the manufacturer. In this case, the product is price inelastic. Number 2, if a product is price elastic, okay, let me quickly finish. I wanted to add a point. If a product is price inelastic, let me say that again. If that product is taxed, both the supplier or the manufacturer and the consumer bear the burden, but the consumer bears more. The consumer bears more than the producer. That is that. However, to increase the revenue of that particular product, we will have to increase the price, okay, of that product. Revenue will increase. So to increase the revenue of a product that is price inelastic, increase the price of that product, you will increase revenue. Now, number 2 now, if a product is price elastic, and a tax is imposed on that product, class, both the consumer and the producers will bear the burden, but the producer will bear more burden than the consumer. Because in this case, if the DS chooses to increase the price, people will leave the product and go for alternative or go for substitute. So in that case, the producer and the consumer will bear the burden, but producer bears more. And in order to increase the revenue of that particular product, if the producer or the manufacturer will have to reduce the price in order to increase the revenue, or increase quantity in order to increase revenue. Number three, if a product is perfectly inelastic, the product has perfect inelasticity, okay, that means that class, only the consumer will bear the burden. If a tax is imposed, only the consumer will bear the burden, because in this case now, whether you choose, because see, in this case, the price, okay, what can keep changing is the price. The quantity remains the same. So here, only the consumer bears the burden. And lastly, if a product is perfectly elastic, only the manufacturer or the producers will bear the burden of that tax. Now, let's go back and sort out our questions. Let's sort out our question quickly. So if a sales tax is imposed, sorry, can somebody read the question? Trying to, okay, I've been able to access it. Now, class, if a sales tax is actually imposed, okay, now, and the burden is actually shared between the consumer and the producer, what happened? See what will happen to the graph. Okay, we're going to have something like this. Remember that, okay, let's have this. Okay, we have this as X and this as Y. Okay. Okay, class. This is S. Okay, this is D. So we have this. Okay. So we have this, though this is QE. Remember, this is QE. Class, remember this is PE. Okay. Now, class, what happened is that the tax is actually imposed such that both of them share it equally. So what happened, class? You can see here that the demand curve will shift, but towards, will it shift outward or rightward? Okay, show the implication of an imposition of a sales tax on the relevant variable indicated in A above if the burden of tax is shared equally between what? Buyers and the sellers. So class, tell me, what happened? Demand if tax is imposed. Okay, if tax is imposed, demand curve will shift inward. Okay, and supply curve will shift upward. So take note of this now. Supply curve shift upward because that will affect, okay, the total supply. But if subsidy is actually given to the supplier, the supply curve will shift upward, demand curve shifts upward. I mean, supply curve will shift downward, demand curve shift upward. So now let's quickly go there. Now demand curve will shift, okay, demand curve shift, okay, inward, that's D1, and supply curve will shift, okay, supply curve will shift upward. So see what happened to the new class. Who can tell me? You can see this is the new equilibrium condition. Okay, this is D1, this is D1 X1. So we can see because, see class, okay, a little bit because of my graph though, we can see that the new equilibrium position, yes, thank you. We can see that the new equilibrium position is found here, which is telling us that, okay, remember this is actually sketched. Now, which is telling us that the equilibrium price will actually a little bit increase, a little bit from the original or initial equilibrium price. But what happened to quantity? Quantity will fall. You can see that quantity will fall towards to Q1. Okay, you can see quantity falls. Okay, definitely. Now, what happened is this class. The price may increase, but the increase in price is actually, it is infinitesimal change. It should be infinitesimal change in price because both of them share it equally. And secondly, why do I also have the feeling that this is also correct? Because the both supplier and both the both the consumers, okay, bear the burden equally. So in that case, the equilibrium price will remain at the same position or a little bit slightly just infinitesimal change in equilibrium price. So we can see here, okay, so since I am actually using my graph to actually illustrate, so we can say from the graph above, from the graph above, the equilibrium quantity will fall from QE to Q1, while the equilibrium price remains unchanged. Now, class, remember, there's no time. Don't write too much story. So let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. Please, this question number 2 is a little bit tricky. Very, very tricky. That you need to understand what the examiner wants you to do. Class, question 2 says that, it says, determine the relevant marginal utility functions. Determine the relevant marginal utility functions for each of the following total utility functions. So now let's take a look at it now. Okay, this is 2. This is question 2, Roman figure what? I. Okay, class. The first one, they gave us total utility. Total utility is equals to, please, I need to expand this thing. Okay, that is 15x squared, 15x squared, y squared, 15x squared, y squared, minus x raised to power 3, y raised to power what? Y raised to power 2. Okay, x raised to power 3 and y raised to power 2. Now, class, let's go there. So when they say determine relevant marginal utility functions, this is what you do. So you now say first one, we have x and y. So the first one you're going to do, you say marginal utility of x. The marginal utility of x will give us, okay, change in total utility, okay, with respect to what? To change in x. That's what you're going to do. So in other words, you are differentiating this function with respect to what? To x. So this will give us, anyway, you see x, respect x. So you are doing implicit, like saying this is implicit differentiation. So whenever you're differentiating x, please don't touch y. Okay, so you're differentiating respect to x. So this 2 is on top of x. So 2 times 15. Okay, let me break it down for you. So this will be 2 is on top of 15. So this is 2 times 15. X, remember, by differentiating respect to x, you subtract 1 from the x. Leave y alone. Just leave y alone the way it is. Leave y alone. Then minus, the power on x is 3. So this will be 3. Put it open bracket. X raised to power 3. If you remember, you are differentiating respect to x. Remove 1 from here. Leave x alone. Leave y alone the way it is. So now let's sort it out. So this will be 30. X raised to power 1. Y raised to power 2. Okay. So minus 3x.
I think
raised
people
to power
should
2.
raise their hand, because once you call, we will no longer see the what you're writing. People should raise their hand so that we won't be interrupting the lecture. Right,
Thank you. Okay, sorry, I need to pin. Let me pin myself here. Sorry, please. Yes, it. Okay. Okay, I think I'm pinned already. Okay, so okay, let's go there. So this will give us 30x. So don't put the 1 again because 30x is the same thing as 30x raised power 1 is the same thing as 30x y square. Oh, sorry. This is y square, yeah. So minus 3x square y square. We are done with marginal utility of x. So we also do marginal utility of y. So in this sense now, we are now differentiating y. You will now leave x alone. Don't touch s. Leave it the way it is. Only respect y because we are doing respect to what y. So in this case, you now say what is on top of y here? 2. So this will be 2. Okay, 2 into 15 x raised to power 2. It is 1. You now subtract 1 on top of y. Bracket it. Minus what is on top of y is 2. Okay, this is 2 into x raised to power 3. Y raised to power 2 minus 1 because you're differentiating respect to y. So class, this will give us 30 x raised to power 2, y raised to power 1 minus 2 x raised to power 3, y raised to power 1. So this will give us 30x squared y. I didn't put the 1 there, minus 2x raised to power 3 y. So I'm done with that particular question. Let's go to question 2, Roman figure 2. This is how you answer question in the exam. Okay, don't put it at this side, put it here on top in the middle. Now let's go there. The next question is total utility. Total utility. Please, if you have any question, let me finish. Raise your hand. I'll definitely get across to you. Okay, we have total utility is what? 20x minus 40y minus 3x squared minus y squared. Okay. Okay. So now let's go there. I'm doing marginal utility of x. So there's no point writing all these ones again. You know, we know marginal utility of y is changing totality with respect to x. Oh, I forgot to give you the formula, but just the difference between this and this is that this is x, this one will be y instead of putting x to be y. So let's go straight. So 20x, remember with respect to x. Okay, this will be this is okay. Let's repeat it. This is change in tu respect to change in x, which is dtu respect to what? Dx. That's what it means. So yeah, 20x respect to x. This will be 20. Remember, okay. Then now remember this 40y. It does not add x, so automatically this is 0 because there is no x attached here, and you are differentiating respect to x. This automatically gives us what? 0. This will be 0 here. Okay, let me write it there so that when you're doing revision, you know that this one is 0. Minus there is x here. 2 times 3 will give us 6x raised to power 1. This y here too does not have x attached. This also is 0. So let's quickly sort our answer out. Our answer is 20 minus 6x. That is all. That's your answer here. So class, let's do marginal utility of y. Marginal utility of y is change in total utility over change in y, which gives us the tu over dy. So class, let's go there. Let's go there. Okay, class, if you're with me, I want you to follow up. Okay, now take a look at this, everybody. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. You know, this is 20x. Y is not attached. It is 0. Let's go straight. It is 0. We are differentiating with respect to y. There is y here, 40y. This one will give us minus 40. There is no y attached here. This one is 0. But here, there is y here. Differentiate y squared class to give you minus 2y. So let's go straight to the answer. This is minus 40 minus 2y. That is your marginal utility of y. So we go again. Let's go again to the next question. Let's go again to the next question. So we have total utility. The next question, question 2. We have question 2, Roman figure 3. So we have total utility here. The total utility here is what? 30xy. 30xy plus 10xz. Oh, this time around they change it to 10xz minus 3x. Oh, yz. What a question. Minus 10z. So since we have three variables here, this is what you're going to do. Let's go straight to the point. Marginal utility of x will be, remember there is x here, this will be, and the power of x here is 1. So this will give us 30y. There is also x here. This will give us plus 10z. There is x here. This will give us minus 3yz. There is no x here. So this is 0. This is 0 here. Let me write it for you. 0. So marginal utility of x is 30y plus 10z minus 3yz. You are done with that. Let's go to marginal utility of y. Marginal utility of y. There is no, okay, there is y here. There is y here. So this is 30x. 30x. There is no y here. Just put 0 here. There is y here, everybody. You can see there is y here. This will give us minus 3xz. There is no y here. This is 0. So final answer will be 30x minus 3xz. We are done. Let's go to marginal utility of z. Okay, there is no z here. It is 0. There is z here, which will give us plus 10x. There is z here. We have minus what? Minus 3xy. There is z here. It will give us minus 10. So final answer is 10x minus 3xy minus 10. So we are done. Let's go to the next question, please. Let's go to the next question. Okay, the next question says, okay, the next question, okay, this one is a little bit tricky, but it's simple. This is question 2, Roman figure 4. This one says total utility is equals to 5.4 x raised power 0.5. Okay, y raised power what? 0.3. Y raised power what? Plus 0.3. So here I will do marginal utility of x. So this is what we're going to do. I need to calm down here and also take it slowly. I'm differentiating with respect to x. What is on top of x is 0.5. So class, leave a space, write everything out, copy of it, leave a space that can contain this power. So this is the same question, 5.4. Okay, 5.4. X raised power is 0.5. Okay, y raised power is 0.3. This is the question. But I'm differentiating with respect to x. What happened is this, bracket this, put the 0.5 outside. The power, use it to multiply everything. Then come on top of x, because you are differentiating with respect to x, take out 1 from this power. So leave y alone. The way y is, leave y alone. So leave y alone the way it is. So this will be 0.5 times, excuse me. So class, 0.5 times 5, remember, it will give us 2.5. This is, oh, sorry, it is actually 0.5 times 5.4. So that gives us 2.7. So class, this is 2.7 x raised by what? Minus 0.5. Thank you, sir. Then, Amaka, thank you, raised by what? 0.3. So in this case, because this is minus here, you can leave your answer like this, but this is your minus here. So this becomes 2.7, okay, 2.7, okay, times 1 over x raised by what? 0.5 times y raised by what? Is 0.3. So what I've done is that I have actually I've taken the reciprocal of this. So this becomes 2.7 y raised power 0.3 divided by x raised power what? 0.5. So this is your answer. Remember, you can leave your answer like this. You can also further go down to do this. Now let's do marginal utility of y. Marginal utility of y. Class, marginal utility of y will give us same thing, leave a space. We leave a space, we copy back the question. 5.4, x raised power what? X raised to power 0.5. Y raised power what? 0.3. So I'm differentiating respect to y. What is on top of y? Is 0.3. So use 0. Bring 0.3 to multiply everything. Then subtract 1 from the power. Close bracket. So this will be 0.3 times 5.4. So that will give us 1.62. 1.62. Okay. X raised power what? Remember, don't touch yx because we are not differentiating respect to y to x. So this will now be y raised power what? Minus 0.7. So this will give us 1.62 x raised power 0.5. Okay. Times what? 1 over y raised power 0.7. So class, this gives us 1.62 x raised power 0.5 divided by y raised power 0.7. So we are done. Any question, please? Kindly ask your question if you are not cleared. So the floor is open for question. Any question?
Yes, yes, yeah. I have
Any
a
question? Please go ahead.
All right. My question actually lies on the question itself that says determine the relevant marginal utility from each of the following. So I was thinking that after solving them, like getting the marginal utility, there is a comparison or something. Is it just to solve it this way? Because
yes, it's just to solve. Yes, you know, the relevant variable in each of the total utility is x and y. It's some x, y, z, some just x, y. So those are the relevant variable in the total utility functions. Are you clear? Are you clear?
I'm clear, just that is that confusing.
No,
one is
determine relevant.
I'm going to
say it again.
To know the relevant marginal utility now. I thought I'm going to compare to know the relevant variable.
No. You are just to solve it out. You are just to obtain the marginal utilities of x, marginal utility of y, marginal utility of z. That's just all. Micro is very simple. It's very, very simple. Like I said, it is how you put yourself down, learn the theories, learn the principles. It's very simple. You can always pass micro, 95, 98, depending. Any other question, please? Any other question? So now let's describe, to say, briefly discuss isoquants. Briefly discuss isoquants. Now, class, take note of this. This is question 2B. Now, see what we're going to do. Short and sharp. Short and sharp. Okay? Please, class, give me a sec. Let me quickly take water. So, class, we're asked to describe an isoquant. Now, class, now when you hear isoquant, iso means the same. Iso means equal. Iso means similar. So when they say isoquant is equal quantity, or equal level of output, or the same level of output, or the same level of quantity. So isoquants, iso, the same level, the same, quant, from quantity, short from quants. So if they ask you describe isoquant, I can say that an isoquant is the locus. Let's take it a very, very sharp way of describing it. A locus is the locus of various combinations of various combinations of class of inputs that gives the same level of output or quantity. Full stop. So class, isoquant is similar to indifference curve. Isocost is similar to budget line. So isoquant is actually under production theory or theory of production. Indifference curve is under the theory of consumer. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, budget line is actually under consumer behavior. And isocost is actually under theory of what? Production. So class, what isoquant is to production theory, okay, is what indifference curve is to consumer behavior theory. What isocost is to production theory is what budget line is to consumer behavior theory. So there is a song that says, when I remember isoquant, I remember indifference curve. When I remember budget line, I remember isocost. So class, whenever I remember isoquant, I remember indifference curve. And whenever I remember isocost, I remember budget line. So when they say you should describe isoquant tells you, okay, different combination of locus points, different combination of input and output that a producer can actually combine that gives us the same level of quantity or the same level of output. So this is just, okay, let me also put it another way around. I can say also, isoquant. An isoquant describes the combinations, thank you, the combinations of inputs, let's say capital and labor, okay, that the producer combines, okay, to give the same level of class of output. So class, so let me, after you have given them these definitions, a little bit, just to talk about it, just sketch the graph. This is a class. You can call this K. You can call this okay, let's call this L. You can call this K. Then do something like this. Then call this IQ. So this is isoquant. Call this 0. An isoquant is convex to the origin. Let me quickly give you the, okay, let me give you the little bit, since it's just we should discuss an isoquant. So these are properties of isoquants. Properties of isoquants. Okay. It is downward sloping. It is downward sloping from left to right. From left to right. Next, downward sloping from left to right. It is convex to the origin. It is convex to the origin. Okay. Next, it is negatively sloped. It is negatively what? It is negatively sloped. This three is okay. This three is okay. So we've been able to answer the question 1 and question 2 very well. Any question, please? Any question? Class, if there is no question, we'll move on. So there's something I need to quickly introduce for today. Okay, so in the next class, we're going to get started. So take a look at the next question, please. The next question take a look at it. The demand function, question number 4, 2017-2018. Question 4, 2017-2018. Now, class, it said the demand function of a price discriminating monopolist. In this case now, class, this monopolist is price discriminatory monopolist. That is, the price it sells, okay, in a coca is different from the price it sells in Yabata is very close. The price it sells in a coca is different from the price it sells in Agege. Okay, so here, let's just use the very close states. The price it sells in Lagos is different from the price it sells in Ogun State. So he's actually a discriminatory monopolist. It does not sell the same price. Take a look at this. The product is the same, but the price of the product is different in two markets. So it goes to this market, it sells at 25 naira. It goes to the other market, it sells at 40 naira. Okay, all of this has implications because their price elasticity will tell us which of the markets will actually gives us more revenue, okay, compared to one another. So I'm going to kickstart this. I'm going to kickstart this in the next class. But let me just arouse our appetite on this. Class, they said the demand function of a price discriminating monopolist in its first and second market is specified respectively as. So first market, let's say this is first market. Let's have it as this from the question. Class, first, okay, sorry, question 4, okay. First market, they gave us P1 is equals to 20 minus 0.5 Q1. 20 minus 0.5 Q1. Now let's go there, class. Second market. This is the second market. See the demand function. See the demand function. 25 minus 0.3 Q. So this is P2 equals to 25 minus what? Is 0.3 Q2. Okay, where P is a price charge per unit of output in Naira, and Q is the quantity produced. The cost of the firm, you see now, you can see that the cost function is the same. The cost function is the same. See what's going to happen there. So the cost function is what? They give us the cost function. The cost function is given as C equals to 10 plus 5 into Q1 plus Q2. This is the cost function. You are required to calculate using marginal revenue equals to marginal cost approach. Class, the question are specified. Please, the question are specified that you should use MRMC approach. So don't go and use total approach. If you use total approach, the examiner will not give you your desired mark. So stick to what the examiner wants. So there is total approach, which is total profit approach. Then there is marginal approach, which is marginal revenue equals to marginal cost. So in this case, take a look at what we're about to do now. Take a look at it. Okay. The question says that what? The question says, using the approach, the equilibrium output in each market, okay, that will maximize profit, equilibrium output. So this is how you start. Okay, I just wanted to introduce this before, but let me do a part, then we call it a night. Let me do the first part, which is this is a part. Now, class, this is P1, this is P2. So how do you start? You now say from, market one. Let's do market one first. I can even do market one, tell you to go and do market two. So market one, let's go there. We have P1 equals to 20 minus 0.5 Q1. So what do? So you now say revenue. You now say revenue for firm one or for market one will give us price P1, prices is that is sold in market one times quantity that is sold in market one. So here will now be R1 equals to P1 open bracket 20 minus 0.5 Q1. Then put the Q1 outside. Class, open the bracket. You have 20 Q1 minus 0.5 Q1 squared. Class, this is R1, Abi. This is R1. So this is margin. This is class. This is called revenue function. This is revenue function of market one. It's okay like that. Now let's find marginal revenue. So let's do marginal revenue. Class, the marginal revenue of market one will be equals to change in revenue of market one with respect to change in quantity of market one. So now let's go there. So what this will give us is that we are differentiating this respect. So this will give us 20. 2 times 0.5 will give us 1. So this will give us 20 minus Q1. So this gives us 20 minus 20 minus Q1. I'm sorry, please. So this is 20 minus what class? Q1. So that is actually marginal revenue of what? Marginal revenue of market one. Now let's go and do marginal cost. Marginal cost of market one. So class, marginal cost of market one. Okay, first of all, let's do something together. Okay, to obtain, let me do it like this. To obtain MC1. So let's recall, we know that total cost function is what? Okay, where is the total cost function is 10 plus 5 is 10 plus 5 into Q1 plus what? Q2. So here C is 10 plus 5 Q1 plus 5 Q2. So in this case now, I'm not doing MC. The cost is actually the cost function for the two markets. So that's why it's not C1. So now, to get marginal cost, I will differentiate this total cost with respect to what? Q1. So what it means is this. See what this means? It therefore means that this 10 is 0. So this is MC1. This 10 is 0. This 5 Q1 will not give us 5. There is no Q1 here, so it is 0. So therefore, this is MC1. So we now equate. So since we're using MR equals to MC approach. That is what the question asks us to do. So this is what class MR1 will equals to MC1. So what is MR1? MR1 is what? Is 20 minus Q1 equals to 5. So class, let's go there. So take this to this side, take this to this side. This is 20 plus 5 equals to Q1. So my dear friends, Q1 is 25 units.
It's minus.
Okay.
It's supposed to be minus if the 5 is coming back to that side.
Thank you. God bless you, Mark. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate. It is 15. So class, this is not correct. This is 15. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you. So this is 15 units. So class, we have obtained Q1, which is 15 units. You are good to go. Now, let's go and do, please let me check. Okay, say the question just say my maximizing output for each of the markets. So this is Q1. So let's say for market, I can't see your screen. Please log out and log in again. So let's say for market 2, you come here. For market 2, you come here. You know that our P2 is what? Let's go there. Our P2 is 25 minus 0.3 Q2. Please pay close attention to this. Excuse me. So what do we do? Class, what do we do? So we also recall the revenue. Class, revenue for market 2 will give us price that is sold in market 2 times the quantity in market 2. So this will give us 25 minus 0.3 Q2 all into what? Q2. So class, this will give us 25 Q2 minus 0.3 Q2 squared. So class, this is total revenue function for what? For market 2. So now let's go there. We have obtained this. The next thing you do, class, you will now do marginal revenue. Class, you do marginal revenue. So class, marginal revenue for market 2 is when you differentiate the revenue of market 2 with respect to the quantity of market 2. So let's go there. I am differentiating this. So this will give us MR2 will give us 25 minus 2 times 0.3 will give us 0.6 Q2. Class, this is marginal revenue. So we'll now also do MC2. Remember, MC2 is when you differentiate this cost with respect to what? Q2. So class, we go ahead, we'll go back to this. Okay, with respect to Q2. So we're going to have 5. This is also 5. We now say, okay, both MR, okay, MR2 is equal to MC2. What is MR2 class? 25 minus 0.6 Q2 is equals to 5. So class, let's go there. This will be 25 minus 5 equals to 0.6 Q2. Class, this will be 20 equals to 0.6 Q2. So remember, this equals to this is also saying this equals to this. So I can say divide both sides. Divide both sides by 0.6. So class, 0.6 Q2 divided by 0.6 will give us 20 divided by 0.6. So class, this will give us Q2 equals to class 20 divided by what class? 20 divided by 0.6 should give us 33.33. Thank you very much. Thank you. 33.33 units. So that is the output maximizing for each of the market. So that means in market 1, let's use the question to we are going to use the question to conclude on, let's use the question to conclude. Okay, the question says, the equilibrium output in each market, the maximize. Okay, so now say the output maximizing the output maximizing profits, the output maximizing profits, okay, for market one is what? Is Q1 equals to what? Equals to 15 units, while in market two, Q2 equals to 33.33 units respectively. Okay, so the next question, you can take it as an assignment. Let me see the next question. Excuse me. The next question says the price that will be charged in each market. Okay, let's quickly do it. The price that will be charged in each market. The price that will be charged in each market. So that is question, this is question 4B. Question 4B, the price. So let's say market one. So that means P1, remember P1 is what? P1 is 20 minus 0.5 Q1. So this is now P1 equals to 20 minus 0.5. What is Q1 class? Q1 is what? 15. Is 15. So this is P1 equals to 20. Thank you, Josephine. 20 minus what? We have 15 multiplied by 0.5. So class, we have 7.5. Thank you. So P1 we now equals to, what do we have, class? We have 12.5. So 12.5, that means this monopolist charges 12.5 naira, 12 naira 50 kobo, okay, in market one. Oh yeah, let's see what it charges in market two. Also, we know that P2 is equals to what? P2 is, where is it? 25 minus 0.25 minus 0.3 Q2, 25 minus what? 0.3 Q2. So P2 will give us 25 minus 0.3. What is Q2, class? Q2 is 33.33. Is 33.33. So P2 will now be 25 minus 33.33 class multiplied by 0.3 will give us okay, sorry, it will give us what? 9.999. So approximately 10. Yes, thank you, Josephine. So approximately 10. Let's just use 10 because we actually divided earlier. So approximately 10. So P2 will give us 15 naira. So you can see that in market two, it charges 15 naira. In market one, it charges 12.5 naira. Let's go to the next question. Okay, I hope I'm not spoiling you guys. The next question says what? The amount of profit to bring. So class, go and do the rest. You know how to calculate profits. You know how to calculate, explain all calculated results. So you can explain that. Then you can also do, it is a using price as a yardstick. Which market is now more elastic, and justify your answer. So let me give you question C, question D, and question E as actually, okay, I should place on question 4A. Okay, question 4A. Where are you? Place your camera on question 4A. Okay. Okay, this is it. This is 4A. Can you share the past question? Yes, I will. Ruth, I will. So this is question 4A.
Not this one, the other page.
Which page? Which page? This one?
Yeah, one.
Eh?
Yes, this one.
Okay. So where exactly? Okay. So class, please, assignment, do assignment you have to do. Say it again.
The down part, the lower part.
This side. Okay, so class, kindly
Yes,
do the assignment. Okay, you're welcome. Do the assignment and get back to me. Okay, thank you very much.
Hello,
Any
SA.
questions?
Hello, SA.
Yeah.
The profit they are talking about, are we going to do it where the profit of market one, then the profit of market two?
Yes, you do profit of market one, you do profit of market. You know the cost, you guys allow me to give you expo. The cost is general cost. So, but profit, you're going to have profit of market one will be Pi1 is equals to R1 minus C. Do you understand? So also you can do a total profit for everything. So class, have a lovely night rest. Okay. In the absence of question, we'll communicate the next class to the platform. God bless you. We are going to get this. You get this on your platform immediately. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you to everybody. You are going to get this immediately on your platform. Then the video, we have to convert the video, also get it across to you. Thank you. Have a lovely night rest. God bless you too.